Okay, so today we're going to look at a TED Talk. To be fair, it's a TEDx talk, so not technically associated with the whole other thing. But this woman, Erica Morin, is going to explain to us. She's like a PhD, she's got degrees and stuff. She's going to explain to us why she's single and how she feels about single life. Full credit to Scott Kramer and his wife. I will link their video in the description. They covered this first, but like a minute into me watching that video, I was like, I need to talk about what's going on in this TED Talk. So let's get into it. Also, I highly encourage you to watch this one all the way through because my opinions and feelings about this person change drastically throughout the talk.
No, I'm just kidding. I won't do all the dances. I will spare you the torture. But as you guessed from my introduction and by the lovely words of Miss Beyonce, I'm a single lady, no ring on this finger. So I'm 31 years old. I have my PhD in history. I would consider myself very successful in my career choice. I absolutely love my job. And I'm pretty much happy about everything all the time.
One thing that stood out to me right off the bat is I'm happy about everything pretty much all the time. If I heard that on a date, that would be a major red flag. Like, nobody's happy about everything all the time. You might be using hyperbole here, but it's just like not a generally good statement to make. If you really were happy about everything all the time, I don't think you'd even have a problem with being single, because why would you want to complicate your already perfect life, you know?
But I'm not married, I'm not engaged, I'm not even close. So according to traditional gender norms, I'm a failure. And I feel a lot of pressure to get married and settle down, and I want to. I want to find someone who's right for me. I want to find someone to share my life and love and experiences with. You know, eventually get married and pop out a few spawn. Typical.
Okay, I feel bad because this is definitely a personal preference thing, but like that, like pop out a few spawn, that line just sent shivers down my spine. I don't know if it's my own aversion to having children or just dislike of the term spawn, but let's move on.
I'm not quite sure why it hasn't worked out for me yet. Obviously, my educational and career choices have forced me to move around a little bit in the past few years, but even still, I'm fun, I'm charming, I'm not completely hideous, I'm not high maintenance, I love cooking, I like watching sports, I like having sex, so I've got a lot of pros in the minds of the male of our species, if you know what I'm saying. I think I'm a pretty decent catch.
Okay, I feel really bad because I feel like every single freeze frame I'm picking of her to talk over is unflattering, but you know what? She moves around a lot. It's hard to get a flatter when everything's blurry, everything's a funny face because she's making jokes and stuff like that. But anyway, I am personally split on this segment, the things that she says here, because on one hand, I do think that we should all, acknowledge our positive traits. That's good. It's good to, know what makes you cool and stuff. I don't usually say it out loud to other people because it feels braggadocious, but the way that she lists her traits off here almost feels like a nice guy being like, why don't you like me? I'm such a nice guy. I'm smart. I have a job. Isn't that what you females like? Why do you go after these brutish, savage jocks? But honestly, to give her credit, she's not actually disparaging any other women or people in this speech so far. Let's just continue.
And in terms of what I want for a guy, well, when I was young, I created a long list of all the things that I wanted in my future husband. And there was all sorts of personal qualities and physical attributes and just general skills or possessions that I thought would be useful. Well, as I'm getting older, this list keeps getting smaller and smaller. The first thing to go was all of those materialistic things. I didn't really care about those. The next thing to go was the skills. They would be useful, but I don't really need someone that's good at computers and cars and construction.
So right off the bat, I do want to give her credit. It sounds like this might end up being a problem later down the line, but I'm glad that she eliminated a lot of the things off of this list because it's a little bit ridiculous. That's what a lot of people get caught up in, is having way too high of standards and never being able to compromise, and so they're just spent looking for their Prince Charming or like the most angelic human being they've ever met in their lives.
So as the list started to dwindle, the problem was I started to feel like I had given up some things that were really important. And I was going to have to settle for somebody that wasn't going to make me happy and maybe wasn't going to treat me very well. So I backtracked and I came up with most important things to me. Okay, so I don't care if it's superficial and shallow. I want somebody that's taller than me. I'm 5'10". I am not a small girl, all right? I don't want somebody that's going to make me feel any bigger than I already am.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in right here because I can already read the comments being like, oh, this hypocritical woman wanting a guy that's tall. But like, at the end of the day, she is 5'10". And regardless of what your height is, I feel like height is a completely reasonable preference. Just don't go putting down anybody else along the way, which she does later, and it pisses me off, and oh, we're gonna get to that.
I want somebody that shares my political beliefs, which is not important at all to some people. But I've dated guys with different political commitments, and I've realized that I don't like to argue. And I cannot be James Carville and Mary Madeline. I can't do it. I want somebody that's smart. I'm smart. And I want somebody I can talk to. They don't have to have a PhD necessarily, but they can't be threatened by mine. Basically, just somebody that has the general sense of intellectual curiosity and a love for learning. I need somebody that's ambitious and hardworking. I can't respect you if you don't have goals.
Okay, you lost me right there. You're telling me I can't just play video games all day and be sad, and you're not gonna just be okay with that? It's fucking bullshit. No, in reality, this is completely reasonable in my opinion.
And then, of course, you know, the general sense of humor, kind, honest, laid back, non-smoker, likes cats, etc. So, I don't think that this list is unreasonable. And yet, here I stand, maybe. Single like a slice of Kraft.
So this video was starting to get way longer than I intended it to be, so I'm gonna summarize the middle section of the video because I don't really think that there's anything groundbreaking or opinion-changing that she says here. Everything that she says in this segment would not make me think anything less of her. She's just talking about magazines and how women's magazines talk about relationships and crushes and love, and men's magazines talk about like staying single and being out on the prowl and breaking up with your girlfriend. And then we get to a part in the video where she really starts to like turn the tide on how I feel about her, and let's just get into it. I'll show you. Where we pick up in the video, she's about to finish reading a list of 24 things you shouldn't say to single people by BuzzFeed.
And my absolute favorite, you should put yourself out there more. All right, listen, just listen. I'm out there, all right? I'm trying, you know? I'm not going to the bar. I'm not, you know, on the prowl. I'm a little too close to cougar status right now. But I'm keeping my eyes and my mind and my heart open.
Okay, just want to throw it out there. Up until this point, 100% on her side. Let's go. You should be putting yourself out there. That's another huge problem that single people have. They think they're so great, but then they never actually give themselves the opportunity to be seen by somebody else as great.
And I have tried that online dating. And I've met some really great guys on there. But overall, my experience has been horrible. I don't know how well Martha has done, but more often than not, my suitors involve weird encounters, all sorts of insults to my looks and my education and my taste in movies and music, etc. And more than once, you know, a circa like 5'4", 300-pound dude hitting on me, which, like, looks aren't everything. And I applaud your confidence, buddy. But really, come on.
This is where I get to shut the fuck up status, because previously, you've said that you have a preference in height. I said there was nothing wrong with that, because there is nothing wrong with that. You can also have a preference of weight, not wanting a super big guy. I think that's perfectly fine. But why do you gotta bring this guy in here and shit on his life like he shouldn't even be putting himself out there? Like, she says, I admire your confidence, but then she says, come on, like a guy like him could never get a girl like me. That's such fucking bullshit, and like, I know this is like an offhanded comment, but it's part of the talk, and she thought it was going to get a laugh, but it's just dead silence afterwards. And then her next thing that she says that isn't even that funny gets a laugh just because the tension needs to drain out of the room. Let's continue.
And then, of course, the typos. Good God, the typos. The very first thing it said on my profile was, I have a PhD. And yet, hey girl, you fin. So, yeah, translation. Hey girl, you fine. How about you hit me up and get with me? Hey, right? I didn't reply.
Okay, so like maybe some of the people in the crowd genuinely found it funny. That's perfectly fine. Subjective comedy. It's all good. But now you're like shitting on people that just use different vernacular than you. Like, yeah, maybe a guy saying, hey girl, you fine, isn't your ideal pickup line, but like some people talk in a more common tone. Like, I say things like yo and word all the time. It might sound silly as a 25-year-old man for me to say those things, but they're just part of my common vernacular. Just because you have a PhD doesn't mean that everybody has to come at you in like some fucking formal talk. Like, I don't know, maybe she has a genuine reason to criticize this person for coming at her that way, but I genuinely don't find anything wrong with it at all. Did I say genuinely like 7 or 8 times there? I don't fucking know.
And then we have, oh, here we go, finally. Okay, so I think I'm a decent catch. I think I'm realistic, and I'm out there trying. So I have a few words of advice for everybody that wants to butt their noses in and give me some information to help this poor, tragic single girl.
Okay, so you guys know I'm mask off at this point. I'm not gonna get to pettily shitting on this person. I'm not gonna go that low. But I can say that it seems like you have a bit of a victim complex. Like, she's about to list off a bunch of things that her friends shouldn't say to her anymore because it's triggering to her as a single person, but like, it's clear that being single is a very big deal to her. So she's probably bringing it up a decent amount by herself, but let's just continue.
When you feel that word vomit bubbling up, when you feel that, well, are you seeing someone? Just consider this list first, okay? So here we go. Number 1, don't ask me about my love life. If I have something to tell you, if I have some great news, if I've met someone that merits discussion, I'll tell you. Until then, there's only one correct answer to this question. And when I give the wrong answer, it just leads to disappointment and awkward feelings for both of us. So don't ask me about my love life.
Okay, once again, I feel like this is a reasonable thing. I think that this is reasonable to ask of your friends. However, you are literally doing a TED Talk about being single. I'm gonna guess you talk about it occasionally. Like, I don't know. I just can't imagine that your friends are the only ones bringing it up. I mean, she said, if I want to talk about it, I'll bring it up. But I don't know. I'm just losing faith in trusting her because of, like, these things. I don't know.
Number 2, it's not contagious. I don't get why married people think they only can hang out with married people. Please don't cut me out of your life because I don't have a spouse. I'm not terminally ill. It's not contagious. We can still be friends.
Okay, so because I'm being a little bit more questioning of things now, I must present the question, is that the only reason that your married friends might not want to hang out with you? Like, there could be many reasons. I sometimes don't feel the greatest about hanging out with my friends who are couples. Most of the time I'll do it, like 95% of the time. Sometimes I'll have a stinky third wheel experience. Do you ever have these experiences? Do you ever talk a lot about being single with a married couple friends? Like, does it make you uncomfortable that they're together? Because you're doing a TED Talk about being single, like, this is clearly very important for you. So, I don't know. Maybe there are other reasons why they don't want to hang out with you. I'm just bringing that up. I don't want to be like a huge asshole.
Stop the pity party. Oh, if I get one more sympathetic head tilt and patting on the arm, it's going to be okay. You'll find someone. Oh, I could just scream. Stop the phony sympathy. Try genuine support instead. And I don't really know how to explain this except to think of my closest friends that tell me, they're excited when I'm excited. And when it goes wrong, it's no big deal.
Once again, I have to ask, like, what are your friends supposed to do? So if there have been many, many pity parties started with you, you've clearly brought up the struggles of single life many times with your friends. And I honestly, like, when my friends bring up some of their problems, I don't exactly know how to, like, be supportive in the right way. And you say this, like, just be genuinely supportive, stop with the fake pity party. Maybe that's not fake for them. Maybe that's genuine for them and they don't know how else to comfort you. They're just trying their best. I don't know. And I say this as a person who has been single when my friends have had relationships millions of times. And I've never once thought to criticize the way that they tried to comfort me.
In connection with that, it's harder on me than it is on you. I will never understand when I hear through the grapevine that somebody says, oh, so-and-so is so worried about you. They just really wish that you would find someone and settle down. Yeah, I'm so sorry that I'm keeping them up at night with my pathetic single life. As if I don't have enough to worry about, then I've got to worry about them too. Believe me, I'm dealing with it. It's harder on me.
This is one where I will say, I think if somebody's telling you that you being single is harder on them than it is on you, they're very likely delusional about that situation. Unless you being single has affected your life so much that you're no longer like a good friend to them, or they no longer want to be around you, then maybe, yeah, it is affecting them a lot. So I don't know all the details.
Oh, sorry. In connection, it doesn't affect your life at all. Whether or not I have a boyfriend, doesn't matter. And if it does matter, if your life is so dependent on that, you need to get a hobby, okay? And my last point, there is no one correct path. So some people get married really young, some people get married young and get divorced, some people get remarried, some people get married when they're older, some people live together forever and never get married, some people are truly happy being single. And that's all fine. None of those are right or wrong. There is no one correct path or lifestyle or relationship. And that's actually the one that I need to take to heart the most. It's okay that I'm not married yet. I'm independent, I'm intelligent, I'm accomplished. I'm just missing one piece of my puzzle, but I'm pretty sure it's going to fall into place. But if anybody liked what they saw or heard here today,
So if nothing bad had happened during this TED Talk, I would have said that's a pretty good way to go out. It sounds like you've kind of got it figured out, but all of the stuff that was wrong with the actual talk itself makes me feel like you're not as good as that ending makes it sound. Like, I actually feel for you, because it seems like you are kind of so lost in the sauce of your single life and sort of being obsessed with that like other things, like you being a dick to that fat guy, or you dissing that dude for coming at you in a tone that you didn't like, I don't know, it just seems like stuff that I would never criticize, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I really I might be completely out of touch here. Maybe everything she said was completely reasonable and cool. I will leave a link to both the original TED Talk and Scott Kramer's original video that inspired me to make this. I really hope that there wasn't overlap between what I said and what he said. I imagine there might have been some, but like I said, I only watched like a minute and a half of his video and then moved on to making my own because this just interested me deeply. So let me know if you want more stuff like this. I hope you're all doing super well, skating on to the best of your abilities, and drinking a lot of water. Skate on, Cub Scouts.